This is Sean.
Hello.
I'm Rachel. We have Charm City Servants, and we wanted to make a video, our first video, so it's going to be real awkward. Prepare. And we kind of wanted to talk about why we got into breeding, what our plans are, and the resources that we use to make those plans, and cite some of those channels and creators that have inspired or helped us. Correct. I think. So who are we?
Well, we are a husband and wife. We do have a third member. He's not here. Rachel's brother, Zachary.
Zach.
Okay.
He doesn't like that.
Okay. And we're just a small, ball python breeding, organization, I guess. I don't know. We have 6 snakes so far. I'm sure that'll grow by the time this, video ends.
Probably. I'll be running out to grab another one while he's finishing it up.
Zach has one, and we're really excited about starting. And we did this before, maybe like 4 years ago. And we had like 20 snakes, and they were all normals and, single gene stuff and nothing crazy. And it just became too much, too fast.
Mistakes were made.
Breeding our own rats was not fun.
No.
But, we have a little bit, more... our lives are a little bit more calmed down, and we're in a better place.
So what had happened was that I heard through the grapevine, it's almost Christmas time, and I hear my brother kind of talking about how Sean's been mentioning like wanting to get a pet snake, and he kind of missed having the snakes and XYZ. And me, being the pristine wife that I am, I knew that what had really kind of like deflated Sean back in the day when we were breeding before, like the theoretical straw that broke the camel's back, was he had always wanted to produce clowns. Like, we weren't trying to make money, we were having fun, we were super young, and he just wanted to make clowns so bad. And we ended up getting like a het clown pair, and it did not happen. Nope. And like in the midst of several other things that weren't going our way, that was just too much. So I knew, I was like, okay, I'm going to start looking, and I'm just going to find him like some cool clown morph. And I actually did not even know Morph Market was a thing. I could not for the life of me figure out king snake, and I was getting frustrated, and I stumbled across it. And right away I found a person that was close by. It's called Balls Deep Reptiles. The guy's name is Chris, and I saw that he had this bumblebee blade clown on there, and I knew that was the one. She was bright yellow. We'll show her in a second. She was so pretty, and I just knew that was the one. I wanted to get that for him. She was about $700, so it was within the budget that I had at the time, and like kind of knew going in what I would need to spend. And so I just told him, I was like, hey, this is what I'm thinking we should get, and he was excited about it.
Yeah, I've never had a clown before, and now I get a clown with multiple genes, and all I wanted was clowns. Clowns are like my favorite thing. A basic clown is like the coolest snake in the world to me. So I was pretty jazzed up for it.
And they just really, one thing we did know is they do hold their value. Like, they are just, clown's not going anywhere anytime soon. So we agreed we were going to do it. He was close by and we could drive and get her. So we did. We drove up the next day, or so, like a day or two maybe. Patience is a virtue.
Could have been that day.
Not my virtue. So we went and got her, and we named her Pennywise, because she's a clown and we're basic. So
her name is Penny.
Her name is Pennywise. So when we were speaking to Chris, he was telling us about a show he was going to be going to that weekend. So I was like, that's cool. Maybe we'll go and check out what's there, because as you know, if you're getting into snakes at all, like, you're not getting one. It's not happening. You're never going to get just one.
Especially if you're an adult who makes your own choices.
And your own money?
No.
If
you have parents, if you're young and you live with your parents and they say you can only have one snake, that's probably the only way you're getting one snake.
And even then, you're probably going to sneak in too, because we're all addicts. So we come home that night, and bear in mind, we had not done any research at this point. This was all impulse. I don't advise this. I definitely think we would have made a few different decisions if we had started our research first. So that night that we get her, we come home, I'm looking online, and I'm like, okay, we could have like a small breeding operation, like 3 max.
No more than 4. We're gonna do 2 pairs.
Right, I was like 3 max. Like,
that was it.
4 max, right? We have a whole conversation, and we find on Balls Deep's Facebook or Morph Market page a male coral glow clown.
Correct.
Again, no research was done about male and female maker. Listen,
they're awesome looking.
I saw them online. I was like, we have to just at least get this, because then we'll have a pair and we can just focus on this one thing, and you can just get what you've always wanted, which is cutting that little egg and knowing that every single thing inside of it is going to be a clown.
Yep. Yeah, there's no head to head. There's no chance that it could be anything less than a clown.
Right.
So if we get 1 egg, I know that 1 egg is minimum going to be a clown, and I'm going to be happy.
And I want the love of my life to just open that egg and get exactly what he wants. And so I was like, okay, I paid for him up front. He was also expensive, like
$500.
He was okay. So, well, expensive for us, like for our budget, that we weren't planning on spending that much money.
We're middle class. We're not rich. We're not poor. We're right
Yes.
there. We make money. We live paycheck to paycheck.
Blue collar, so to speak.
Correct.
We do well. We're more than paycheck to paycheck, but just. Yeah. So anyway, we pay for him and we agree to pick him up at the show. And we did very well. We did not get any other snakes at the show. We just got a 6-tub rack that will take them from like a little bit bigger than hatchling to like subadult, like 800 grams, I believe.
800 grams, yep. We also picked up Zach's snake while we were there.
Oh, yeah. Well. Which is a banana leopard?
Banana leopard, yeah, male. I think he was a couple $100. He wasn't super expensive, but he was, again, pretty awesome looking. I mean, the coral glows and the bananas are pretty impressive. They were like 20 grand when we were doing it before. Like,
it was ridiculous.
5 years ago, 10 years ago, they were $20,000, and now you can get it for like $200.
Things just change at the drop of a hat. So that'll kind of bring us into the next thing, which is when we said at that point, like, okay, we know we're really going to want to do breeding and we're going to want to do it right. We need to start doing some research. So we watched a really good video by Always Evolving Pythons. I believe the guy's name is Miguel. Mm-hmm. So definitely check that out. It was starting a reptile breeding business, I think might have been what it was called. But I loved that video, and I really wish I had watched it first.
She pretty much watched all of his videos that one night. I was like, I like his videos, but man, after listening to him for 3 hours while trying to sleep, I was like, I hate that guy.
Because he's so informative, and like his wife is so cute, and she's like always in there getting him like amped up when they're like cutting and stuff. We watched a lot of videos, obviously, by Justin Kabelka, because you're not gonna not. We watched a lot of videos by this guy called Jordan at JP Exotics, who is in partnership of some sort with Billy at Mutation Creations.
Yeah, he used to rent, I guess, a space at Mutation Creations. And, we thought that was really cool. Like, how can we do that? Like, that's how do you get a space? I mean, I'm in my like office, and we have our 6-tub rack here, and
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, well, the only big breeder that I know of that's near us is Ozzy Boyd's. I think he's out west, like maybe an hour west of us. But like,
yeah, he is really close, because when we did the breeding the first time, we bought 2 snakes from him, and I will say they were amazing eaters and they were beautiful, and the female did end up breeding. It was like a Mojave het ghost or something. Yeah. So yes.
That's back when he had his storefront. I don't think storefronts are like necessarily a thing anymore where we are, but
especially during COVID,
we just happened to find a storefront, and all he had was ball pythons and a couple other snakes in there, and
some boas,
maybe some tree frogs too.
Yeah, he did. It was really cool.
But it was wild, and we drove all the way out to
It was cool.
It
was cool, like meeting him, and like he was very nice and just loved talking about them. It was cool. So all of that to say, like, that's kind of how it started for us. And then we started watching these videos and collectively came up with a plan. And the general consensus that we got from pretty much every single person is, A, you don't need quantity, you need quality. So that's the first thing. I wanted to just have 4,700 snakes that I'd have to feed every single week. That's
the hardest part, is feeding.
Yes. And that maybe, that's not the best way to go. Getting all of these snakes, like, yes, they're going to produce for you, but then you have the responsibility of rehoming or selling all of these like babies. And they're things that people already have a lot of usually, because if they're super accessible to you, they're super accessible to most people. So for us, it was like, how do we get what's financially accessible for us, but also going to produce, better quality animals? So what we landed on is that you should really be super female heavy because it's going to take them 3 to 4 years to be ready to go.
2 if you just
power feed, which we're not really doing. We're feeding them every week. So
they're kind of like pets too. We take them out a lot. We handle them all the time.
It is important to us, and obviously I'm sure people always have a plan going in, and it's going to take the trajectory that it does, but we like interacting with ours, holding them, handling them, taking them places, educating people on them, like showing them to little kids. Like we just always really like that.
I think the last time we did like a photo, we found someone on Craigslist that wanted to do like a photo shoot with snakes, and we went to this guy.
And you're like, yeah.
We had 3 ball pythons, and we had like an albino, we had a pastel, and like a big normal. And this chick just put them on her shoulders and on her arms, and the guy took pictures, and it was
just so fun.
It was different for sure.
You know, life is just experiences, and then you die, so you might as well enjoy it. So we knew we wanted female heavy. We knew we wanted to focus on specific projects and making those the best we could.
Yep.
And I think as a whole, that was generally the information that we got.
Yeah.
Prior to that, more snakes were purchased. Another male was purchased, I should say. So I just am obsessed with highways.
The day after the reptile show, she was laying on the couch saying that she doesn't get anything nice and she can't have anything nice.
I didn't say I can't have anything nice.
So she looked and found a reptile breeder on Morph Market that was local and hounded.
I have his sticker.
And then hounded them
KTR.
all day until, KTR.
Until he surrendered.
Until he was like, yeah, sure, yeah, whatever you like, lady.
Listen.
And we drove out there and picked him up. And he was around $500 as well.
Yes, his name is Miles.
Yep, he's a male highway.
I think we ever said, but our male... Sorry, I have hiccups. Coral Glow Clown is named Art after the creepy clown from the Netflix trash movie, The Terrifier.
It's not trash. It's amazing. And the sequel's coming out. It's amazing.
You're welcome.
Terrifier.
So then we got Miles. So that was before we had, again, been doing a lot of this research that then suggested we should be female heavy.
We did terrible research. We had 3 males and 1 female.
Everything's fine.
Yeah.
So, some of the information we got from Miguel at Always Evolving Pythons, which is going to dictate this upcoming show that we go to, is that you should get like 2 or 3 gene, like codom females that are like double. Oh no. And then wait, I'm going to mess this up. You do it.
So if you have a bunch of like multi-gene codoms, dominant gene snakes, like bumblebees and lesser, highways even, he said, if you have females that are like that, with multi-genes, a bunch of pastels, orange dreams, enchies, anything like that.
You're clicking.
Sorry. Put them to like a double recessive male and make, multi-codom, double het snakes because that's something that people want. It's very rare. It's hard to get.
Yeah. And that's how he was able to surpass a lot of people in the business within only 3 years. Now, from what I gathered, I think his financial situation was a little different than ours. And then as the females are about a year out, that's when you then are selecting your males and making your plans, because what's hot right now may not be hot in 3 years. Now your female, she's going to increase in value. She's still going to be super valuable, but what you choose to put to her may change. And now you've been raising up all these snakes and spending all this money feeding them and caring for them and bonding with them if you're like us and you're interacting that way. And then it's just not really going to your plan. So
yeah, realistically, like if we would have not bought our Coral Glow Clown male and our highway male, and in a year when our girls are a little bit bigger, then we bought them, maybe the $500 we spent on them would be $350 or $400 or $400. I mean, maybe it would be the same. Who knows? But
or for that same price, maybe now you can get a pastel highway male for that,
for the same exact price, exactly.
So hopefully that makes sense. So, but we don't regret it either because we're doing this because we love it and we want what we want. So we're not looking at it like what's going to make us the most money, but like what do we want? What do we want to produce? Because honestly, you also know that how many snakes do you hold back?
All of them.
You know what I mean? Like
it's like when you have puppies. You don't want to get rid of any of those.
No.
We want to keep all of them.
So with that being said, this is like our plan. So we have that clown pairing and we know we have that highway male. Sean went to a show to surprise me while I was at work. I get in the car and he's like, I got you a present. It's alive. And I'm like, it's a fucking snake.
No, I'm sorry. What did you think it was?
I thought it was a naked cat. And when I found out it wasn't,
it was not.
I was pissed because I want a naked cat so bad. And this was like the 4th time that he was like, I got you something. And my hair is like stuck in the back. And he was like, it's alive and you're going to be so excited. And I was like, oh my God, it's a naked cat. Like, it's happening. And it wasn't. It's fine. Later, I was told I am getting a naked cat, which we pick up next week. Nobody panic. His name is Rumple Smoothskin.
So excited.
So you'll be okay because we love each other through pets, apparently. So we got the clown pairing, and that's all we have for the clown project right now. So our next goal is, which we're going to kind of keep to ourselves in case it changes, but we're going to go to the show, which we'll film if they'll allow it. The 2 shows we go to this coming weekend.
If they're open, because COVID is just killing everything at this point.
Right now, they did say they're planning to remain open with like social distancing and all of that. So we're going to be looking specifically for some clown females. We don't know which direction or don't really want to say until we like retain them for sure. Because they might not have anything. And after that video Billy just posted at Mutation Creations, like, we're not having any snakes shipped to us. Like,
it's too cold.
We're just going to wait for the winter, and it is what it is. So for Miles, at this show, so he's like, I got you a snake, essentially. When we get home, like, I'll show you. And we get home, and he pulls out this beautiful ivory possible pinstripe, which we named Bianca.
I don't know how anyone can tell with the ivories. They're white. They have stripes down the back, like a yellow stripe. I've heard that could be pastel. He said that's an indication of pinstripe. I'm like, cool, bro. It's an all white snake. Yeah. It's an ivory. That's all I need. If it's got other things in it, cool. We'll see if when we breed her out. But the super yellow belly is all I was really interested in.
Yeah, and because we wanted her for Miles, so we wanted to make the additional highways
and ivories. It's pretty much all we can make.
We were super attracted to the fact that we wouldn't be making anything normal, and that just wouldn't be a concern, and that's something that mattered. So then he puts her back and he's like, okay, I got you one more. And I'm like, oh my God, another one. And he pulls out the most beautiful Firefly yellow belly. I just think they are not expensive, and he got her $150 cheaper than like what I'm seeing on Morph Market. As a deal.
I always find that in person you can definitely get them cheaper at shows, in my opinion. Don't be afraid to ask for a lower price. I mean, the worst they can say is no. I'm a little bit brazen in that sense, and I don't mean to offend, but like, hey, if I'm buying this snake for X amount and I'm buying this snake as well, like, can you cut me a little deal? And most people are pretty reasonable.
Yeah. And depending what it is too, like, we're also not doing that on like $5,000 snakes. Like, these are a couple $100. Like,
and this person offered it. I didn't actually have to haggle. I mean, I'm not going in there like trying to chip you down on the price. He was like, hey, I'll give you a little deal on this. And
even so, like, if you were asking, it's not like we're asking like something egregious, like under like market value, but like, hey, like, do you have any deals? Don't be afraid more so to say, like, do you have any deals if we do multiple purchases or XYZ, any packages? So he got me Ember, which is the Firefly yellow belly, which again, I think they're so pretty. And I think in the future, like, there's a lot she could do, and she was already of more size.
Yeah,
so
fire and pastel together just brighten everything. I mean, pastels are great and fires are great. When you put them together, like, I'm colorblind, so I have a hard time with some of the color schemes, but they're super bright. It's so black and so yellow, and it's a great looking snake.
And then he put her away and he was like, I got you another one. So this one we now have a plan for, but didn't at the time. This was just something I always wanted. And so he just got this for me just out of pure, like, I know this is something you've always wanted.
And also, like, I'm a little strategic. I mean, both those first 2 snakes had yellow belly, so they're going to go to her Miles, and we're going to make some highways, hopefully, and have some fun there. But this snake has value and is also gorgeous.
Yeah, so as we know, like, clowns are never going out of style, and as you can probably guess, another snake that's just always going to be around in some iteration is Pieds, and I've always wanted a Pied. So he got me this teeny tiny little discounted little baby.
Yeah, the whole table was like 30% off, and like, I don't necessarily know that I would have gotten this steak had it not, because it was full price was like $400.
Yeah.
So obviously 30% off of that is, you can do the math. It's a good chunk off, and I haven't seen a female Pied for that low a price yet, and she's a little bit of
so her name was Pecan, like pecan pie, And based on just her attitude, she has now been named Creepy Karen because she just always tries to strike. She
bit Zach.
She bit
He's never been bitten before. Rachel's never been bitten before.
I got struck at for the first time by Pennywise, and it really like personally hurt my feelings. Like,
yes.
But she does have a little bit. She doesn't really have a wobble with being a spider,
but I like the term. It was called stargazing.
But she doesn't even have that so much. It's just specifically when she tries to strike, sometimes her head will like flip back. So we're gonna have to see how severe that gets, and that might affect our plan to breed her. I'm definitely not bashing the spider gene, but we had a snake with a severe wobble in the past that ultimately passed away.
Yeah, he kind of like did like this with his head every time like there was food around. He would like come out and be like. Whew.
And it's sad to watch, like especially when you like are really attached to your pets. So
yeah, and I don't think it affects them. I don't think it hurts them, but you know, I definitely we're staying away from Champagne because of that. I've heard horror stories where people said their snakes like. Slither around upside down,
and we just like it's not for us. Like no. If that's for you and you can handle that, but
and Penny only has that reaction when she's eating.
Yeah,
she just stargazes a little bit and sometimes goes back, but
she does get it. But I work at a vet. Like I'm just a little bit too emotional about it. But we're going to show you them in a second because I don't want this video to be too long.
We can ramble for sure.
It is just our introduction, so it's going to be longer than a lot of our other stuff. But I completely lost my train of thought of what I wanted to say before we showed them.
Not sure.
I don't have any idea.
We may have to edit that.
No, we'll just show them, and then if it comes back to me, I'll mention it.
Can I go grab them?
Yeah, we'll show them in the order of how they were purchased. Let's just do it that way. So we'll do Penny first. Second one down. I really have no idea what I was going to say. Can't believe this bitch struck at me. Can you believe that? So if you want to like maybe hold her up first so they can get a good look at her.
Oh God, not in front of the camera.
Because the ring light will
get
out of her way.
And she's got a really cool. She's gonna hide her head.
You also need to try to get in frame.
Okay, there you go. That's a cool head stamp. And she is a bumblebee blade clown. I mean, she's just super bright and awesome.
Yeah, and she tried to strike at me.
And I love her more because of it.
That's nice. So, next we'll do Art, which is our Coral Glow Clown. He's really pretty too. And they all, not all of them, but the majority of them just shed, which is nice. So they're a little flat looking. They're all eating tomorrow. That's what I was going to say. So they all came to us eating live mice, and we've been able to successfully transition all of them to frozen thawed rats, which I'm really excited about. His head is really pretty too if you can try to get it in there.
And you can kind of see.
It just has really nice coloring on it.
Yeah. He's not going to, there you go. He's a pretty awesome snake.
And then I'll do Miles. You can bring him to me, but he's mine.
Can I?
So I'll show him. Y'all, this is what marriage is. Just your wife asking you to hand them things until you die. Miles is super head shy. He's never tried to strike or anything, but he's very, very head shy. He doesn't really like to be handled. He's getting more used to it, and if he's out for like more than 5 or so minutes, he'll do the traditional ball. But he's like very basic. You can see, look at his little tucked in head. He gets so scared. Let me see if I can. He's got a stuck shed on the front of his face, but it's starting to come off. Let me just get his head out. Miles, you're being extra. There's his little face. Look at him. He's so sad. But what I love is just, I am obsessed with this stripe. And I know now the freeway is probably like the more valuable of the options, but I like the highways.
I think highways are awesome.
Look at him. Look at him. I love it. He's so cute. He's pissed. But I just love the pattern on them. But he does get stressed out, so we'll go ahead and put him back. I'm sorry, baby.
You didn't show everyone the owl one.
Oh, yeah. We'll pull Penny back out. She has a really cool stamp on her. She has like a perfect, like, calligraphy style, like, letter L on her. It's really pretty. Sean, show you. She looks upset. Well, she also knows it's almost feeding day. Like, they know.
Right there.
Where?
Right there. L. Makes a perfect L.
Let me see. I feel like you're not showing.
That one.
You can't see it in the video. I don't know what you're showing.
I'm showing.
No, you're not. You're pointing to a stripe and you're covering the L completely.
Oh, that L.
Yes, that's
Okay.
the only one.
Okay, right there. Right there.
Isn't it just so pretty? I love it. God, he was covering it up the entire time, y'all.
Well, that's the first time I've ever seen the L, because I was...
You've never looked at it when I've showed you 100 times? You were literally pointing at a stripe.
I thought you meant.
Guys, that's gonna be fine. Also, so Bianca, she always hisses when we take her out, but she loves being out.
Yeah, she pretty much hisses
But she does like being
every
out.
time we touch her. And she's just... I mean, she does have that nice yellow stripe going down the back. She's not as stark white. I mean, her belly is very white. And, like, right around the end of her mouth is super white. But she does have a little bit of dulling on the back. She's not as, like, stark white as, like, say, the Pieds. But I think that's normal with the Ivories. Obviously, she's the first one I've owned, so.
Yeah.
They're all around, like, 150 grams, with the exception of Ember, who's around 300 grams.
Yeah. She's next. I love Ember so much. She's just very sweet. She loves being out. She loves interacting. She's so bright and so pretty. I'll show her off too. She's my pride and joy. All right. Look how beautiful she is. Look at it. I love all of her blushing. That's my favorite part. But Sean's favorite part is how the end of her tail is like that stark black against the yellow. And then you can see like the yellow belly markers, especially, pardon me, sweetheart, on like the end of her tail there on the underside. And then look at her. She's such a beautiful baby. She likes being out so much. I'm going to keep her out while he shows you guys Creepy Karen just because she likes being out.
You don't hold Karen?
I held her before we started filming this video, okay? Babe, you left the dog bed in the entire video. Don't move it now. Don't move it now. There's just literally no point. We can't do anything right. I'm not editing any of this. I don't have the energy for that. It's getting posted as is, and y'all can just use your imaginations.
Yeah, we have dogs and cats and snakes.
Yeah, we have a lot.
And apparently a crested gecko that we're going to get this weekend as well.
Oh yeah, we gotta pick her
So
up.
this is Karen.
Creepy Care.
And she's just...
She's like,
She might bite.
Karen.
She might bite the camera. She's that big of a twat.
Don't color that. That's disrespectful to women. We're going to have to edit that out for sure. It's not funny.
What in post?
No.
But she has orange down the side. I didn't know that was like a thing with Pieds.
Yeah, I had never noticed it before her.
You know, I've never really held a Pied, but I mean, she obviously is like paper white, and then you know, obviously has the normal Pied markers and normal coloration. I'm not going to say what color they are because
You can't tell.
I
Look at her
can't
little face. She's so cute. She has an attitude, but she's a good girl. And she's also the smallest. You know, when they are hatchlings, they're super like bitey because they are scared. They don't know what's happening, and it's a lot for them to handle. So we're not holding it against her. We're just not happy about it.
And you could follow us on Instagram at, is it Charm City Serpents?
Yep, just Charm City Serpents on Instagram.
And then our YouTube channel obviously is Charm City Serpents as well.
Yeah. If you're interested, we post like really good up close photos of them. And, you know, it's going to be a pretty slow growing process. It's just following us along and, you know, keeping it realistic and what works for us. And
we can definitely give you the perspective of a small time breeder. You know, we don't have, we have a 6-tub rack. I mean, that's all we have right now. And we're going to get more obviously because they're going to need to grow, and we're probably going to buy snakes this weekend. But, you know, we don't have thousands of snakes. We don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars to sink into them. You know, so if you're looking to start something small, I mean, we've put hundreds of dollars into it for sure. You don't have to. You can go the cheaper route. You can go, you know, het and, you know, maybe buy a visual male and just try to make cool stuff. I mean, you know, the sky's the limit for whatever you want to do and whatever you want to accomplish. It's, you know, this is awesome, and it's a really fun field to be in. So.
I think the most important thing is they are live animals. It's just the care of the animal. You know, what matters to me is that they get up to size the right way, that they're eating safely, that whether you're doing live or frozen, you know, frozen thawed's important to me just because we've had snakes injured in the past with live. But if that's what they're going to eat and that's all a snake will eat, like, I'm not going to let a snake starve to death, and we'll adjust our plan. If all they'll eat is freaking sulfur mice, like, then that's what they're going to eat. And yes, it is. You're so annoying. But as long as the care of the animal is the priority, and I would say my personal advice is don't don't get big for the sake of getting big and then put yourself in a position where you can't provide the care you would want to give, because when that did happen to us, we ended up rehoming those snakes and selling them to other breeders who could use them, because
they all went to good homes.
Yeah,
they all went to other breeders and other, you know, people in the field, and some of them were just pets as well. I mean,
yeah, like a girl I used to work with, like they still have the snake I sold her as like a pet. And, you know, just making sure that you acknowledge if you are not the best fit at that time, if it's, you know, not working for you for whatever reason. Oh, and one more big piece of advice that we will need to adhere to but aren't the greatest about, and we learned the hard way, is just making sure that before you get started, make sure you have a quarantine set up, so that when you're bringing a new animal home, if you put a sick animal into your rack, it's the easiest way to surefire infect all of your other animals.
Yeah, mites are miserable. We had it the last time. We had a blood python who was, again, not nice. I'll use that word, and so we don't have to edit it. And she just struck at everything. Although I could hold her, and she just struck at everyone else. So she's like my personal protective snake. But she had mites, and she spread it to every single one of our babies in our rack. And
it took months, months of soaking every single animal every day. Whatever. It was just a long process. So we learned that, and then making sure you have a supplier for rodents prior to getting your snakes, because there are often shortages. We live in Maryland, so if you live in that area, there's a Facebook group, Maryland Reptiles and Amphibians, I believe, or Maryland Reptiles, Amphibians and Feeders, maybe. You can go on there and make connections. I really like those Facebook groups like that. But just make sure word of mouth is always the best, because you want to be giving them quality. Right now, we're stuck giving our snakes from a local reptile store. Like, we have to purchase in bulk, and it's more expensive. At least we know the quality's there and that they're going to be safely eating.
Yeah, there's a gentleman who comes in from West Virginia. I think he comes in once a week, and he drives out to like the western part of Maryland, and then even like the western part of like Baltimore. And he just breeds in like a truckload of rats from West Virginia. And, you know, maybe we can get on that if we need to, but they're all live. I like the frozen thawed right now.
Yeah.
So we just have to, you know, figure out what works best. That was one of the hardest things before. I felt like I was a rat breeder, not a snake breeder. You know, I had a couple of breeders, and they, you know, if they were unreliable or just, you know, kind of sketchy, it was a real pain to get rats. And especially when, you know, all your snakes are getting bigger, everyone wants mediums to feed their breeder size, you know, snakes. And so the shortages can come for sure. And
it's not that we won't ever breed them again. It's just, we would need a different setup, and we would need to pre-plan for that.
I'll never breed them in my house again.
No, 10 out of 10 don't recommend. It's just, you'll never get, it took years to get the smell out. I swear, it was horrible.
Yeah, we had them in our basement. I mean, it's not like it wasn't a living space at the time. So it was fine, but
it started to like radiate through the floor and stuff. But I think that's a lot to digest for a first video, but it's, like I said, it's our welcoming video. We wanted to kind of get a lot of baseline information in there. And then I think the next video will just be some clips of the shows that we go to if we make it this weekend, if they don't get canceled, and then also picking up Rumple. He's an exotic pet, you know, being a hairless cat, so we'll pick up a little Rumple, and we'll include some footage of him just because I'm so excited to get him. But I think that's it for today.
All right, thanks for watching.
It's been real.